So we're in front of the Flint Journal. It's the Flint Journal, but the Flint Journal, over the years of our reporting, seems to forget who they're journaling for, because they never, ever covered our bombshell reporting on Governor Snyder's administration manipulating and cheating on water testing, therefore manipulating testing so that they got fake numbers. Didn't touch that, even though we sent it to them. We know they knew about it. Then we broke a story for Vice on the governor's top advisor, self-described fixer, going around Flint offering payoffs to sick Flint residents, which the governor knew about. Nope, they couldn't journal about that either. Then we broke a story earlier this year on, we got the governor's phone calls, his chief of staff's phone calls, his health director's phone calls, which prosecutors concluded they spoke 22 times in 2 days, and prosecutors concluded it was them in October 2014, 6 months after Flint switched to the Flint River, covering up a deadly waterborne disease known as Legionnaire's disease. Didn't cover that either. Then we just broke 2 weeks ago, recently, that the governor's top officials in his administration, their phones mysteriously got erased right before the launch of a criminal investigation into the water crisis. And other officials, their phones weren't completely erased, but coincidentally, they had no messages on their phones for 2014 all the way through October 2015, which is when Flint used the Flint River. The story also revealed that the Governor Snyder, who by the way just happens to be facing a trial likely this year, he wouldn't hand over documents to criminal prosecutors for 3 years. So the Flint Journal just didn't have the time to journal about these things. So Jenn has put together handy dandy, very, very easy to digest, almost like a book report here on our recent story that has the top bullets, phones belonging to top officials close to Governor Snyder, including his press secretary, were erased in 2015, shortly before the launch of the Flint criminal investigation. Phones belonging to top officials in the health department had no messages on them for all of 2014 through October 2015. Phones belonging to environmental department officials, they were allegedly dumped off in the state IT department right after Governor Snyder held a press conference in October 2015 announcing Flint had toxic water. And when these environmental officials' phones were dropped off in the IT department, they were dropped off, quote, wiped clean, right after the governor acknowledged Flint's water was toxic. Aaron Brockovich, this is the biggest cover-up story you're going to read. Well, apparently, the Flint Journal never read it. Or they read it, and for some reason, they can't find the time to inform the residents of Flint that they journal for of a major government cover-up into that poisoned them. So we're in front of the Journal, and we're going to go talk to the Journal and make sure they know about it, and maybe ask why they can't find the time to talk about this. So we're ringing the doorbell for the Flint Journal. I'm going to speak with an editor or a manager here, or reporters. We wanted to make sure they knew about an important story.
Okay, what do you got?
We broke this a few weeks ago. I'm pretty sure the Flint Journal knows about it. We broke it in the Detroit Metro Times and the Intercept on, on Governor Rick Snyder's administration. Their phones were deleted right before the launch of a criminal investigation. Health officials' phones had no messages on them.
Okay.
The governor refused to hand over key documents. I mean, to be honestly, I know you guys know about it. I don't know why you're not reporting it, but also the governor's top advisor was interfering in the investigation. Congress has responded to this story. They say they're investigating it, but the Flint Journal, interestingly enough, has not reported it. I don't know why. We also broke last year that the governor's top advisor was going around Flint offering payoffs to residents. Flint Journal didn't report that either. I'm sure you're a good fella, but I think the Flint Journal should inform residents about these things. None of the facts have been disputed. Rashida Tlaib, as you know, she spoke out on this. Michael Morris spoke out on this. Ro Khanna, the congressman, has spoken out about this. Erin Brockovich actually said, this is the biggest cover-up you'll ever read, but we can't get the Flint Journal to do a damn thing about it.
And yesterday, in an interview with former Mayor Weaver, she essentially called this complicity to murder for including Nessel and Snyder.
We interviewed the mayor. She said Attorney General Nessel is helping Snyder get away with murder. What is your message to Attorney General Dana Nessel? The Attorney General says she's not directly involved with the criminal investigations.
It's under her watch.
Yeah, it's under her watch.
And justice delayed has been justice denied. She was not truthful to the people of this city. She told us that they were going to have some criminal charges. They did not just charges, but convictions. She did not want people to get away with these crimes. And we see a misdemeanor is getting away with murder. I always talk about how to get away with murder. Ask Snyder, ask Nessel. They're all helping him do it.
And I quote. So, I don't know. You guys are supposed to be
the best contact lawyer.
Yeah. So, not trying to be difficult.
No.
It's kind of stunning to me. The Flint Journal is burying this. I mean, you guys know about it, so.
Are you an editor? Is there an editor in today?
I'm one of the editors.
Okay, cool. What's your
I know
name?
you're understaffed, I've heard, but I've sent this to Ron Fonger, we've sent all these to Ron Fonger. I mean, it's just stunning to me. I don't know why the Flint Journal continues not to cover these things. So I'm hoping. Also, we have the response from Congress in here. So you have all the information, you have our numbers, so thanks. Sure.
What's your name?
Roberto
Roberto, nice to meet you. Your last name?
Acosta.
Acosta, okay, nice to meet you. Jenn and Jordan, thanks so much.
So now we're in Detroit. We've already went to the Flint Journal in Flint, who's burying news of the Flint water cover-up, who refuses to inform the residents. But we've come to Detroit. The Detroit Free Press is the biggest media outlet in the state of Michigan. And I have personal experience with the Detroit Free Press. I actually met with its investigations editor. His name is Matthew Dolan. I met with him last year. I actually drove to Michigan during a pandemic. It took me 9 hours, so I didn't have to fly. Among other things, I met with him. And I literally handed him our reporting and evidence of former Governor Rick Snyder and his top officials, his chief of staff, his health director, their rapid fire phone calls in October 2014, 2 weeks before Snyder's reelection. Prosecutors had gotten their phone logs, and it showed over 2 days in October 2014, they spoke 22 times. The governor, his chief of staff, his health director. It was a rapid fire phone tree, and the prosecutors concluded they were on the phone trying to cover up the Legionnaire's disease outbreak, the bacterial water disease that killed who knows how many people in Flint. There's no way to really truly know how many people died of Legionnaires or how many people died with the diagnosis of pneumonia, which was misdiagnosed pneumonia, but was actually Legionnaires. I handed it to him. I also handed him evidence that there was a meeting in October 2014 among the state environmental department. And that meeting, prosecutors got the notes from that meeting. And in the notes, it said governor's briefings, plural. And in that blurb, governor's briefings, was mention of the Legionnaire's outbreak in Genesee County, which Flint is in Genesee County. That was October 2014. It said governor's briefings with mention of Legionnaires. Why is that important? Because the governor testified to Congress he didn't know about the Legionnaire's disease outbreak until January 2016. That's a year and a half later. I handed it to him. Mr. Dolan said, and I quote, "We regret not doing more on Flint." So I said, great, here's your opportunity. I'm handing it to you. I even said you could throw one of your reporters' names on the story with us, so they felt like they had, enough credit. He told me, well, you got some great stuff here, but it's a little circumstantial. We don't know what they were talking about in the phone calls. I said, well, first of all, we're not criminal prosecutors that need to prove something beyond a reasonable doubt. A lot of great journalism is stacks and stacks of circumstantial evidence along with sources. But here, this isn't my opinion what I'm giving you. These are documents showing the top prosecutor leading the Flint water criminal investigation. He was saying that the governor, his chief of staff, and the health director, these phone calls were them trying to cover up, his words, the Legionnaires' outbreak. They see me. Yes, there we go. I'm a journalist, and I'm here to drop off something to the Detroit Free Press. I just want to bring it up and drop it off to them. It's a major story about the Flint water crisis. I think the Detroit Free Press is a 24/7 outlet. They're not open? Okay. Yeah, I'll wait. Can you guys call and tell them I'm here? And I just want to drop this off for them? Huh? I can give you. Oh, for them? You don't have their contact information? Come on. They're in the building. You don't have their contact information? I don't live here. I got a flight to catch. I'm not trying to be difficult. I literally just want to hand it back. Somebody could come up with me. Okay. Can I give you a message to give them? And hand this to you? Oh, can I give it to her? And she could give it to them? So, yeah, if you could just leave it for them. This is a major cover-up of the Flint water crisis. Okay, yeah, they're ignoring it. They're ignoring it. They know about it and they're ignoring it. So we've made it into a packet. It's the Detroit Free Press, so they should be covering it. Thank you, man. Not going to blame those fine people. Nothing wrong with them. They say the building's closed. I don't know how that's possible because it's a 24/7 outlet. Unless they aren't back in the office, I could check that, but I'm pretty sure they are. So this is a pattern where the Free Press, at least credit to the Flint Journal, they opened up and spoke with us. But how could the Detroit Free Press? They obviously called up. It's bullshit that they don't have a contact to them. It's in the building. Of course they have a contact. They have a direct line. And I'm sure an editor said, yeah, no, don't let them up. So I don't know. If Free Press is in my name, I believe I would be answerable to the people. I was not demanding to come up there to yell at them, just to hand this to them. They already know about it, but just to hand it to them. The Detroit Free Press won't cover it. They won't cover the cover-up. They won't even do any follow-up reporting on the cover-up. You know how I know? In 2020, we broke a major story on Governor Snyder's top advisor, literally going around Flint offering payoffs to sick Flint residents. So what's interesting about it at all, they wouldn't cover it then, but they did a follow-up story a year later, basically plagiarizing our story. Same exact story, only severely watered down to the point that it wasn't even what actually happened, and they wouldn't credit us. This is the Free Press? If this is the Free Press, I got news for you, Detroit. You need some new press here.